So in this video, I want to show you some birthing stools that are an option for birthing your baby out. And birthing stools have been around for a really long time. The earliest depiction of a birthing stool or a chair was a drawing from ancient Egypt in the year 1450 BCE. Birthing stools are even mentioned in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in the chapter of Exodus. And they were really popular with midwives and women. And even today, research shows that if you're birthing in an upright position, that the second stage of labor is going to be faster, less painful, and some people just really prefer to be in this kind of position. So these birthing stools were made in Kentucky. This one was made by the father of a Kentucky nurse midwife, and you can see it's U-shaped so that you can sit on it and the baby can be born through it. It's got lots of reinforcements on here so that it won't collapse. And then it's got these handles that you can hold on to while you're pushing. This one was made by a Kentucky midwife, and it also has U-shaped, although it's a little bit shallower of a U. It's also shorter, as you can see. So this works better for somebody who is shorter statured or somebody from a culture who is used to doing deep squats. A lot of people in Western culture today aren't as used to doing a deep squat. So these were really popular, and it actually wasn't until King Louis XIV in France. Apparently, he had a fascination with watching his babies being born. He had 22 children, and he didn't like that the birthing stool and birthing chair didn't give him a good view of his baby while it was coming out. So he was one of the first people documented in medical history who kind of basically told his wives and mistresses that they had to give birth lying on their backs in bed. And until that time, it was, giving birth on a chair or stool was popular in many cultures around the globe. So today, though, you typically only see birthing stools with community midwives at home births and freestanding birth centers, although they can be used in the hospital. In fact, I know a lot of doulas who will bring their favorite birthing stool with them to the hospital. So how it works is you kind of sit on the birthing stool. And this one's really nice because your partner, it's wide enough that your partner can actually sit behind you and comfort you, and you could lean back into your partner, or they could massage you or hold you. And then your midwife would stand right in front of you. And the midwife who is letting me borrow the stool said sometimes birthing parents will even put their legs on her knees, so she'll kind of be kneeling in front of you, and you can kind of put your legs there. And then you can hold on to these handles while you're pushing. And a lot of people really like that. With this one, you can also squat on that one, but it gives you a bit more of a deeper squat. The midwife who gave me this stool, let me borrow it for this video, also says that people really like sitting on it backwards. So kind of like this. She said it kind of mimics the sitting on the toilet, which a lot of people find comfortable, except there's no big toilet thing behind you. So with this one, the midwife would probably be behind you while you're birthing your child, and a lot of people find this comfortable. People can also use these stools almost like you would a birth ball. You could lean on it, so kind of like a supported kneeling. And in general, birthing stools, people just seem to really like them. But like I said, you don't tend to see them inside hospitals as often. Starting in about the late 1800s, early 1900s, birthing on your back in bed, that's when that became the more popular option because it made things easier for the doctor. So for hospital settings, for institutional settings, if you're going to use a birthing stool, it's more likely to be something like a cub or a kaya. So I will quick show you what a kaya looks like online, and then I'll show you what a cub looks like.
So the Kaya birthing stool is becoming popular. This is a stool that's made out of a plastic called polyethylene, and it's lightweight, weighs between 6 to 8 pounds, and it's got some nice curves that makes it comfortable to sit on. Also, the nice thing about the Kaya birthing stool is it can be used underwater, so people can use it to squat or sit or position themselves in a birthing tub as well. And you can see here there's a variety of poses you can use with the Kaya birthing stool. You can squat, you can kneel forward on it, you can lean forward on it. You can use it between your legs. You can do a lunge with it. So there's a lot of options. And the Kaya birthing stool comes in both versions for personal use, and then there's also like professional use ones that are more made for being used over and over. And the nice thing about this birthing stool is it can be easily cleaned and disinfected.
So this is a Cub. It stands for Comfortable Upright Birth. This is another brand that can be used in hospitals because it's easy to sanitize with their sanitizing instructions in the manual, but you can use the same supplies they use to sanitize other things in the hospital. So it's basically inflated and it's a U shape. So you can sit on it like we did earlier with birthing stools. It's pretty comfy. It's kind of like a birth ball, but without the instability of a birth ball. With a birth ball, you can roll around a little bit. This is more sturdy. Other positions that you can use include a kneeling and hands and knees position. You could also use it to do what we call an asymmetrical lunge, where you've got kneeling on one side and the other leg is lunged out, and you can birth the baby that way or labor in that way. You can also deflate half of the Cub and make it shorter, and then you can use this in between your legs, kind of almost like a peanut ball. And you can also do a squat, kind of like with the shorter birthing stool. So it would be a shorter squat. So you could also use this, since it's smaller, it might be a little bit easier to use this in a hospital bed. You could do kind of like a kneeling over that in the hospital bed. So those are some options for upright birthing positions.